Pleased now to be joined by Victoria Lee, back in action in One Championship at Battleground. You had a successful debut, you got the finish. It was great to kind of get that under your belt finally after a lot of excitement leading towards your first fight. How good does it feel coming into now your second fight on the back of that win, having kind of got that out of the way? Are you feeling good ahead of this one?
I feel great going into this fight. I've taken all that I can learn from my last fight, implementing it into this next camp, and feel ready to go.
How about the other stuff in terms of, media interviews and all that kind of thing? Do you feel a lot more settled now? Does it feel a lot more relaxed?
I think it's still taking some getting used to with the interviews, but this time around, I'm more familiar with the whole process, and I think I'm handling it a lot better.
How about your camp? Are you training mostly with your siblings? Who's been your main training partners for this one?
My main training partner is my brother, Adrian, as well as my older brother and my sister. But since because of the size difference, my older brother's mainly coaching me, and I'm lucky to have my sister jumping back in with me on the mat. She's recovering from giving birth, but it's so nice to have her back on the mats.
So your opponent really is an interesting one. Wang Luping. She's won her last 3, but this is going to be her one debut. Have you had a chance to check out her fights in WLF? Are you someone who likes to watch your opponent, or do you leave that to your dad to kind of do the scouting for you?
Fortunately, we haven't been able to find any footage on her because I think she competes out of the China circuit, and we haven't found much videos. But I'm just focused on my training, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how our styles match up in the cage.
Do you think it's important, just generally speaking, to really focus on your opponent and to study tape? Or do you think it's more important to focus on yourself? Or is it a balance of both? Or does it depend? Like, what's your kind of chosen approach?
I think that it always helps to see footage on your opponent, but in this situation, we can't help it. And I think it's really similar to my junior competitions at the World Championships. You don't really know who you're going to face, and you just gotta focus on your own training and your own game plan and just see what happens on game day,
I feel like this path was destined for you. You're from a family of martial artists. You've seen kind of the path through. I mean, Christian was 17 when he started in one. Angela was 19. But does it feel nice now to be able to say, I'm a professional MMA fighter? I'm a professional MMA fighter, with a winning record. Does that kind of feel good now that you're really making that progression?
I feel so grateful to have this job. This is the best job in the world, and I think that it's so cool that I can do this with my entire family. I like I said, I love my job. I love every part of it, and this is something that I'm going to be doing for a very long time.
I think all fighters I've interviewed hundreds of fighters over the years, and I think there's always a level of nervousness, right, before you get to the cage, but some truly seem to revel in it. How do you feel about that walk? Is it more excitement than nerves, or the nerves kind of what you thrive off? Like, how do you feel when you make that walk?
I feel like the walk is where all the emotions come the most, all the pressure, all the nerves, all the excitement. But when I step into the cage, it kind of all fades away. The breathing really helps me, and when the cage door shuts, it just a switch flips and my body takes over, like it's time to fight.
I remember your first post-fight interview, and getting the finish and everything. Have you had a chance to kind of, it seemed like it was a bit of a whirlwind for you because it's your debut. Have you had a chance now to kind of enjoy it, watch it back, and also think back on it and just take it all in a bit more rather than when it was actually happening?
I've been able to watch my fight and my coaches have been able to give me constructive criticism, and I'm taking all of the everything I've learned from that fight, implementing it into this camp, and I'm just tightening up my game, and I'm excited to showcase my new skills for this fight.
I managed to speak to both Christian and Angela before this. You know, they're 100% confident that you're kind of going to go in there and do what you do and get the finish. I think when it comes to your family, it's not really a case of arrogance. It's just, it is what you guys do. Like, if you look at the career of Angela and Christian, so often it's been you go in there and just produce first or second round finishes. You know, do you think it's fair to say that that's what you expect when you go in there? You go in there and you expect to finish, and then an early one at that.
Well, the way that my dad trains us is just that it's a fight, and in a fight you got to finish as fast as possible, because they train us for self-defense. We don't go in there and try and squeeze out like a 3-round decision. We go in there and we take the fastest finish. That's what I plan on doing this fight.
Do you see yourself more as a, I mean, I've seen some of your wrestling. Do you see yourself as a submission specialist, or do you see yourself do you enjoy getting a knockout more? Do you take greater satisfaction in either of those?
I think that I'm more comfortable in my grappling because I've been doing it a little longer, but we train MMA, the MMA game as a whole. So I'm going to look for the finish wherever that may be.
How intrigued are you by the Atomweight Grand Prix? Because we still haven't gotten underway. It's like, I think it's so exciting for the division. And do you agree? Are you going to be watching with interest, because all these women are maybe in your crosshairs in the near future? So who are you kind of interested in that tournament? Because any one of them could be an opponent for you one day.
I'm definitely so excited for the Atomweight Grand Prix. I can't wait for it to start already, but I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on everybody in the division, because I don't know who's going to come out on top, and I'm going to be having to help my sister prepare for whoever ends up winning the Grand Prix. So definitely we'll be keeping a close eye on the tournament.
I recall interviewing you before your first fight. I mean, your attitude seemingly has been, you know, I'm happy to take whatever fight is offered. Do you see yourself getting to a stage where you're confident enough and you feel that you've earned the right to say, oh, I'd like to fight that person, not in a disrespectful calling them out way, but just almost out of a, I want to challenge myself against that person? Do you see yourself being able to do that in the future?
Yes, I do. I would love to fight anybody, you know, but it's not really up to me. I'm down to fight anybody, but yeah, like I said, it's not up to me.
Do you have a goal by the end of 2021? And how far away are you, do you think? Have you kind of mapped out what it's going to take to get to that top 5? Because if you keep winning, keep finishing people, it might come around quite soon, right?
Well, right now I'm just focused on my fight that's scheduled for next week. But after that, I would like to stay as busy as possible and see where it goes from there.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you back at it. Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you so much.